Hello and welcome to day 26 of the 1000 Days of No Code Challenge. Alright, let's talk about something which makes building an app even more easier. How many times have you wished that you could copy something from one system to another system just like that? Have you ever noticed some parts of the application look exactly the same irrespective of which page you are in? Like tweet cards on Twitter or product cards on Amazon. On whichever page you go, the tweet looks exactly the same with the same options available. That's not a coincidence, that's a smart design. In Bubble, we have something called reusable element. If you have ever touched any of the code, then it's like function, right? You write a function once and you keep calling it from wherever you want. If you have not written code, ignore that. In Bubble, we have reusable element. Just to give you an example, let's say your app has 5 pages and on each of the pages you need a login functionality. If the user reaches to that page without logging in, you want the pop-up to open which asks the user to log in. Now, you do not want to be doing this functionality on each of the pages separately, because if you have to make one change, then you'll have to go to all the 5 pages and do the same change again and again and again. So we create something called a reusable element and then you use it on all of these pages. What this does is each of this page will be referencing to one particular design element. So you make any changes in that design element, it gets reflected on all the pages without you having to do any other thing apart from updating the reusable element that you have used on all the pages. Today, we'll be exploring exactly the same thing. How do we create reusable elements and how do you use that on multiple pages? So let's look at how do we create the reusable element for login functionality. I'll select this and this and this while I hold Shift in Windows. And then right click and say group elements in column container. Let me call this as login. Let's go to layout, add gap spacing between elements, add 20, and then we can also reduce this like this. Now right click on this group and say convert to a reusable element. It'll ask you what should be the name to this reusable element. Let me call it as login and click on create. So this is the first reusable element that we have created, and this will be at the bottom over here. So you can see all the pages shown here and the reusable elements will be shown at the bottom. Now, if you click on login and go to the workflow, you will already have the workflow that you had added before. Now let's see how do we use this. Let me go back to the register page, and what I can do is I can delete this now. I can search for login and login will be available under reusable elements. I will drag this and drop it over here. Now, if you visit the element section, hide the visual, hide the container, hide the input forms, and here comes the reusable elements. So reusable elements are the elements that we have created using multiple other elements. And now this can be used on multiple pages. Let me show you. I will go to, let's say, profile section, and I can add the login reusable element here as well. Yep. Let me just get it over here. I'll delete this pretty soon, but I just want to show you that we can use it at multiple places. So when I go to preview, let me remove the debug mode equal to true. You can see that the email ID, password and login has come here. Even if I go to register page and preview this, I can still see the same thing coming up. Ignore about this box that popped up, that is my password manager. If I go to login and change something, let's say button. Now from bluish color, let me change it to orangish. If I come back here onto the register page, this button would have got updated. Not just here, but also on the profile page, which we had added the same reusable element. So let me just remove this. You can see the button orangish. This is the beauty of reusable element. Create it once, use it at multiple places. Change it once, it gets reflected on multiple places. Now let me delete this particular reusable element from here and show you how do we create a reusable element from scratch. Click on the page name here and click add a new reusable element. You can give any name to this. Let's say for example test. Click on create and a blank canvas will open up. Now this is as good as a blank page. You can put in any elements, you can do any operations within this. The only difference being reusable element cannot be used directly. You will have to put the reusable element on one of the pages or multiple pages, and that's how you use a reusable element on the front end. So let's drag and drop some text here. I'll firstly increase the default builder width to 600. And we've got this text. And we can say we are testing out reusable elements. Let's make this a center over here. Let's say bold. And now if I go to index page, let me increase the height 1200 so that we have space at the bottom, and then let me search for test, drag and drop. Now I can also increase the width over here, and if I preview this, come down, we are testing out reusable elements. Let me just remove this so that we don't see this text here, and there you go. Now let me go to one more page called test. Click on create. Okay, test, we already have a reusable element, that's why it's not allowing us to create a test page. So test page, create, and let me drag and drop the reusable element. Let's preview this. You can see we get the same text. Similarly, you can go to test and add a button. Testing. Yeah, let's add some 30, and if we go here, you can see that the button is visible. Not just here, but like the first time, it will also be visible over here. Isn't this fun? And just like that, we have introduced reusable elements. It will not just help us save time, but also keep the app clean. In the next video, we will explore how do we create reusable elements for tweet replies. Till then, keep building, keep sharing, keep inspiring. Also, for those of you who have not joined our WhatsApp community, please do so.